There's something quietly fascinating about women over 60 who always look polished, youthful, and effortlessly stylish. They don't brag. They don't chase trends. They don't follow every new technique that comes around. Instead, they have this graceful presence, like they've discovered their own secret language when it comes to beauty. And the truth is, they actually have. These women follow a set of silent hair rules, not written anywhere, not spoken often, but practiced with consistency. These rules are subtle, grounded in wisdom, and they make all the difference in how fresh, confident, and radiant they appear. Today, I'm going to reveal these rules one by one, because every woman deserves to feel this level of quiet elegance. Let's begin with the first silent rule. They choose softness over sharpness, always. Stylish women over 60 know something most people overlook. Harsh lines are the quickest way to age the face, so they avoid them quietly, almost instinctively. Instead of rigid, blunt shapes, they lean into softness, soft layers, soft finishes, soft movement. This doesn't mean their hair lacks structure or intention. Quite the opposite. Their softness is controlled, shaped in a way that frames their features with kindness instead of severity. When you look closely, you'll notice their hair never stops abruptly. The ends gently curve, the layers melt into one another, and the silhouette feels fluid rather than stiff. This softness creates the illusion of a more lifted face, an open expression, and a refreshed energy. The secret is that softness visually blends with skin texture, reducing contrast. High contrast around the face, even in hair, can emphasize fine lines, sagging, and uneven tones. These women understand this without ever needing to say it aloud. Another aspect of this rule is avoiding overly flat or overly sharp styling. They never wear their hair plastered down or slicked tightly against the scalp. Instead, they give it a little freedom. A natural lift at the crown, a bit of movement through the lengths. Even when they choose bobs or shorter cuts, they opt for rounded edges or sweeping side parts. Nothing about their hair looks stressed, strained, or forced into place. This softness extends to texture, too. They aren't afraid of gentle waves, airy curls, or natural volume. They rarely fight their natural hair pattern. They enhance it. They know that texture adds youthfulness, and softness adds elegance, so they welcome both as part of their signature look. But here's the most important part. Softness is not about appearing younger. It's about appearing harmonious, like the hair belongs where it is and flows with who they are. That's the quiet wisdom these women embody. They don't resist age with harsh choices. They lean into beauty with softness. Now moving on to the second silent rule. They never let their hair color fight against their natural features. Women who age gracefully don't force their hair color to win a battle. It was never meant to fight. They don't bleach aggressively to hide gray roots. They don't dye their hair in overly dark shades that drain their skin. Instead, they choose tones that work with their natural coloring, not against it. These women know that as the skin matures, its undertones shift. Warmth softens, coolness becomes more noticeable, and contrast decreases. So they adapt their hair color to maintain harmony. If their skin loses a bit of natural warmth, they choose creamy blondes, pearl browns, or soft gold hues to restore it. If their complexion leans cooler, they lean into silvery tones, icy highlights, or gentle ash blends. It's never dramatic, never artificial, never heavy. Their color looks like it belongs to them, even if it's enhanced by a stylist. Another hidden part of this rule is the avoidance of block color. Instead of one solid shade from root to end, they choose dimension. Subtle highlights, diffused lowlights, soft contrast around the face. This creates visual movement, prevents the hair from looking flat, and adds natural brightness. Strategically placed lighter pieces near the temples or cheeks can lift the entire face without makeup or surgery. They also understand the importance of blending. Their gray isn't an enemy, it's part of the story. They choose colors that blend seamlessly with silver strands instead of fighting them. This reduces maintenance and creates a softer, more graceful appearance. And perhaps the most powerful part of this rule is restraint. They don't overprocess. They don't chase trends. They don't experiment drastically. They make quiet but strategic color decisions that keep their hair healthy and their entire appearance balanced. Next, let's talk about the third silent rule. They avoid volume at the wrong places. They create it where it matters. Stylish women over 60 know that volume can be a best friend or a quiet enemy. They never chase random, all-over fluffiness. Instead, they build volume intentionally in areas that lift their features and skip it in areas that drag the face down. You'll notice they never add bulk at the lower sides of the head or near the jawline. Too much width in these areas can make the face appear heavier, pulling attention downward. Instead, they keep that area slimmer and softer. The fullness happens higher, around the crown, the upper sides, and sometimes lightly around the cheekbones. This upward distribution acts like a natural face lift. They also avoid overly teased roots or stiff volumizing techniques. Their volume is always natural-looking, airy, and breathable. They focus on creating the illusion of thickness near the top while keeping the rest of the hair sleek and light. This creates a lifted, refined silhouette that instantly looks youthful. Their secret often lies in subtle layering. Not choppy layers, not wild layers, just delicate, well-placed pieces that encourage lift without adding chaos. The top layers blend beautifully into longer or mid-length shapes, allowing volume to appear without any harsh transitions. These women also understand that not all volume comes from cutting or styling. Some of it comes from hair health. They keep their scalp stimulated, their hair moisturized, and their products lightweight. Heavy creams, thick serums, or oily finishes are avoided quietly because they flatten the hair and highlight aging textures. Even when wearing short styles like pixies, they position the volume toward the top, allowing the profile to look elongated and elegant. They don't flatten everything to look neat. They embrace natural movement that softly emphasizes their best angles. And the most silent part of this rule is that they don't overthink it. They don't obsess over having perfect hair every day. They aim for effortless volume that supports their face, not competes with it. Another style worth discussing is their fourth silent rule. They keep their ends impeccably cared for. Never dry, never frizzy, never forgotten. If there's one thing stylish older women never neglect, it's the ends of their hair. Many women focus on roots, scalp, or volume, but these women treat their ends like precious fabric. They know that dry, frayed, or brittle ends can add years instantly, making the entire hairstyle look tired. They make frequent micro-trims part of their lifestyle. Not dramatic chops, just small, regular dustings to keep the edges smooth. By doing this, their hair always looks polished, even when it's styled casually. Moisture plays a role too. They don't drown their hair in heavy oils, but they nourish it with lightweight hydration. Soft creams, leave-in conditioners, and gentle serums that keep the ends supple. They want the hair to move fluidly, not stiffly. When the ends move gracefully, the entire silhouette looks refined. Heat styling is approached thoughtfully. They avoid extreme temperatures and favor soft, low-heat tools that preserve the cuticle. When they curl loosely. When they straighten, it's to smooth, not flatten. They never chase perfect curls or pin straight strands. Instead, they enhance the natural fall of the hair and let the ends breathe. They also avoid overbrushing or brushing when the hair is vulnerable. They know that rough handling only worsens aging textures. Their tools are chosen carefully, no harsh bristles, no cheap combs. And then there's color. They avoid coloring the ends too often. Overprocessing leads to dryness, and dryness leads to harshness, and harshness ages the whole face. So they let the ends stay more natural or softly toned to maintain that silky, healthy look. Their ends always reflect intention. They curl softly, move gently, and never compete with the rest of the hair. That quiet polish is one of the reasons they appear so stylish, even without trying. As we continue, let's take a look at the fifth silent rule. They never allow their parting to stay the same forever. They shift it intentionally. One of the most overlooked secrets to looking effortlessly stylish after 60 is how these women play with their part. They never let their hair fall in the exact same line for years. Instead, they shift their parting subtly and strategically to keep their style fresh, youthful, and lifted. When you part your hair the same way every day, the strands adapt, flattening into a predictable shape. Over time, that part becomes deeper, the hair becomes thinner in that area, and the style begins to look lifeless. Stylish older women know this, so they rotate their part, sometimes slightly to the left, sometimes slightly to the right, sometimes a soft diagonal. These shifts add volume instantly, giving the roots a gentle lift without teasing, spraying, or heavy styling. Just a new angle creates an entirely new sense of movement. It keeps the hair from becoming trained into flatness. They also use parting to frame their features. If the face needs lifting, they choose a soft side part that sweeps upward. If the forehead needs softening, they allow wisps or layers to fall slightly forward. If the cheekbones are their favorite feature, they position the part to highlight them. Even women who wear bangs understand this rule. Their parting behind the fringe shifts subtly to avoid that stiff, immobile look. They never allow the hair to become predictable. This rule also has a deeper psychological effect. Changing the parting, even subtly, refreshes how they feel. It gives them the sense of a small transformation without committing to a haircut or a color change. It's like a gentle reset for both their hair and their mood. And of course, these women never chase extreme parts that don't complement their face. They aren't trying to look trendy, they're trying to look harmonious. So their parting stays soft, never overly straight, never perfect. That imperfect natural flow is where the style truly lives. And finally, the sixth silent rule. They choose simplicity, but they execute it with confidence. Stylish women over 60 don't overwhelm their look with complicated hairstyles. They don't pile on products, accessories, or trends. Their secret is something beautifully understated. They commit to simplicity, but they do it so well that it becomes a signature. Their haircuts are clean. Their styles are intentional. Their routine is consistent. They don't jump from one idea to the next. Instead, they refine what works for them and let it evolve gently with time. Their simplicity is strategic. They know that complicated hairstyles can draw attention away from their natural elegance. So they avoid excessive volume, overly intricate braids, heavy curls, or overly sleek finishes. Their style lives in that sweet balance between put together and effortless. One of the most beautiful things about this rule is the confidence behind it. They don't feel the need to prove anything through their hair. They aren't trying to reinvent themselves every few months. Their simplicity feels like quiet self-assurance, the kind that grows with wisdom and life experience. Their products are simple too. A light leave-in, a soft shaping cream, a mild root lift. Not 10 items, not heavy sprays, not complicated steps. Their routine is easy, repeatable, and gentle on the hair. And perhaps the most powerful part of this rule. They embrace who they are. They choose styles that reflect their personality, not someone else's. Their simplicity becomes their most compelling form of style, because nothing looks better than a woman who knows herself. Final thoughts. These silent hair rules aren't about perfection. They're about wisdom. Small choices that add up to a look that's timeless, soft, and deeply elegant. When women over 60 embrace these principles, they don't just style their hair, they honor themselves. And that is what makes them so effortlessly captivating. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path.